That we are dejected. Oh, well, that was weird. Welcome back to another episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Like I said, we're dejected. We all know why, but thank you all for coming through to episode 192 of the Purple Rain podcast, the Justin Matabike episode, floating out episode.
That's a good one.
I mean, 92, great number of the Purple Rain podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. Follow this guy on Instagram, on Twitter at Sutton Death. You can follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. And most importantly, our lovely, jubbly sponsor, Manscaped. You know, I know it's gonna be a little cold out soon, but you can always, stay a little refreshed, stay clean down there. If you want to get something on Manscaped, use your code PRP for 20% off your whole order and worldwide free shipping. It really doesn't get any better than that. I think I've sold it enough, but thank you all for coming through to our first season game recap episode of the Purple Rain podcast. It's a Victory Monday. Woo! It does not feel like one. I will tell you that right now. It feels like a gloomy losing Monday, honestly. But thank you all for coming through. Most importantly, how are you doing, Sutton, on this Monday?
Doing well. I'm doing about as well as I can be, after the news that we got yesterday. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and get into all of that, break it down for you guys. But a win is a win, and I'm trying to find solace in that. It's a lot better to be 1-0 than 0-1. I'll just say that. I'll lead with that. Like I said, we're going to get into all of the things that transpired in yesterday's game. But before we do, make sure you guys go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. You guys know the normal housekeeping stuff. If you're new here, please subscribe. We'd appreciate it. If you enjoy the content, if you like seeing our beautiful faces, hearing our lovely voices, talk about Ravens football, and if you like interacting with the Rain Gang, the live chat, we're all a big happy family here. Make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button as well, and turn on the bell, turn the notifications bells. That way you're notified every time that we go live. It's normally Mondays and Thursdays, anywhere between like 6:30, that sort of thing. But if you don't feel like keeping up with the schedule, make sure you hit that noti bell. You'll be let known by YouTube whenever we go live. We'd appreciate that. Okay. And as we normally do, we're going to go ahead and bring up who's here in the live chat, who's watching live with us today. Cam the Baptist in the building says, PRP, what's going on, Cam? Sports Gaming YouTube in the house says, yo, what's up, Purple Rain Gang? Victory Monday, but I feel so bad for Dobbins. Don't we all? Don't we all, man? Thank you for coming through. Chike says, going on, Rain Gang. You guys worried about the I worries because I am to an extent. Yeah, we're going to get into it. Thanks for coming through. P Brownie is in the house. What's going on, man? Brandon Collins. Raven Ron in the house, Purple Rain Pioneer. Yolanda, how you doing, Yolanda? Another Purple Rain Pioneer says, good evening, Rain Gang. Our guy Simply is 10, keeping it simple here. Like the video. Go ahead and leave a thumbs up. Already got about 30 people watching live right now, already about 3 minutes into the show. Thank you guys so much for joining. Again, make sure you like the video. It takes a second, helps us out a whole bunch, though, right? D3 in the house says, what's up, fellas? I'm cautiously optimistic for next week. Yeah, we haven't gotten to the Thursday episode yet, the breakdown. It's going to be later in the week, but make sure you stay tuned. Look who we got, Alex. Look who we got. She's back. Lisa is in the chat, in the house.
We missed your score prediction on Thursday, Lisa. We were talking about you, because nobody gives score predictions like you. So we missed you.
Factual. She says, guys, J.K. Dobbins cannot win for losing, can he? I'm also worried about Tyler Linderbaum. Yes. We are all worried. That is the live chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us live again. If you're not watching this live and you are part of the hashtag replay gang, thank you so much for coming through to this episode. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. We'd appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So obviously the Ravens win pretty handily yesterday against the Texans at the bank, 25-9. A little scoregami for you. That score has never happened before in the history of the NFL until yesterday. That was weird.
I'm a sucker for a scoregami. I'm a huge sucker for scoregami. So that was awesome to hear. One thing I will say was I really wasn't stressed at all I wasn't worried if we were going to lose from the beginning to the end. I kind of expected us to win, and also expected us to have some hiccups, for us to not look like a team that's played together, because that offense is not played together in a game. No preseason, just some joint practices. Which do you really go 100% in practice? Like, yes, but no. Like, maybe like 80, considering trying to get up to
it's
speed.
not game speed. Yeah.
Right. So this is the first game action for this team, and it looked like it. You could tell this team did not play at all together. They were lacking chemistry on some stuff. We'll get into more of it, but first and foremost, we got to talk about the updates on the players who were hurt yesterday.
Yes, absolutely. And with that being said, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and kick off what we like to call the Purple Rain Report, brought to you by our lovely sponsor, Manscaped. So this is going to be a normal thing, as you guys know, throughout the season, reviewing games, kind of just giving you guys a report, a breakdown on what happened, what transpired in terms of the health report, in terms of who balled out stat-wise, who didn't show up on the stat sheet, what we liked, what we loved, what we hated. You guys are going to get all that here with the Purple Rain Report. We appreciate you guys. Again, brought to you by our lovely sponsor, Manscaped. Okay.
Thank you.
So, first things first, getting into the health report. So, John Harbaugh came out today and gave a couple of updates on some guys that got hurt in yesterday's game, and then some guys who just flat out didn't play in yesterday's game. So, Alex, I'm going to let you go ahead and take the lead on this one. What are you seeing here, and just kind of what are your thoughts on these I words?
As you can see, first and foremost, I would get out the way. J.K. Dobbins torn Achilles, out for the year. That's the biggest known out of all of them. Really was an awkward one. You could tell he was in some discomfort. And as you saw him walking off, I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's, maybe got rolled up. Nothing serious. He'll be back in a play or two. Then you see him, have two people on each side helping him off the field. And you're like, okay, this is serious. Going to the locker room. Mid-game, it comes out towards Achilles. Awful for him. That touchdown just looked like old JK, honestly. Bursting on the outside, jumping in, just having fun, having fun on the field, something that he hasn't done in a while. And
then he does the feed me celebration afterwards.
Yep. He was just having fun out there, and seeing that really, really sucks that he went down. Your thoughts on that before we move on?
Yeah, man. J.K. Dobbins is a guy who, like I said, he can't win for losing, or however the expression goes. You know what I mean? Like the kid just can't catch a break, right? Only started how many games with us total?
I think he played 9 in the past 3 years.
Like, come on now. 9 games in the past 3 seasons is ridiculous, especially when you know how much this guy loves football, how passionate he is about the game. We saw it in his tweets last year saying, like, hey, like, I don't get the ball enough. You need to feed me. Like, I've never gotten 15 touches in a game, all those sorts of things. And this was seeming like it was going to be the year where he was the premier back. Notice, no design runs by Lamar Jackson yesterday. What does that mean? That means that we're going to be giving more opportunities to our actual running backs. Again, for those of you guys who don't know, Lamar Jackson is not a running back. J.K. Dobbins, that's his job. Gus Edwards, and so on and so forth. And J.K. Dobbins, we know how much he was itching and scratching to get back on that football field. Scored a damn touchdown, man. Was looking good. And just for that to happen is just the ultimate buzzkill. In week 1 at that, it's just can't really say too much about it, man. It's just unfortunate, and the guys at the press conference after the game kind of getting a little choked up. Patrick Queen was one of them. Just getting a little bit emotional about JK, because they know how hard this kid worked. They know how bad he wanted it, how bad he wanted to be a premier piece on this offense. And, I even made a whole short video about it a couple weeks ago. Like, I thought not the addition, but just having J.K. Dobbins in general was one of the things that was going to make this offense damn near unstoppable, all things considered. And just the fact that was taken away from us so fast, it is unfortunate. But we do know it's going to be next man up. What the mentality of the coaches and even the players, and of course even J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is feeling the same way, man. J.K. Dobbins is telling Coach Harbaugh that he's going to be right back, next year, and he's going to be back better than ever. He's in good spirits, which is a good thing. But yeah, it just sucks.
I'm thinking back to his debut. I said it before, I didn't like the pick when we drafted him. I'm kind of getting goosebumps thinking about it. The 2020 opener when he scored 2 touchdowns. something just seeing him play that 2020 years, like I don't like being wrong, but damn it, was I wrong? Like what he showed me his rookie season, I was like, we just drafted the next big thing as a running back. I think about the way he was running over Andrew Sandejo against the Browns, the way he was running over the Giants, the way he took a touchdown 70-some yards against the Bengals in that final week. How the way he ran over I think it was Kenny Vaccaro, I believe, at the Titans game when he beat them in the playoffs. Like he had it all. He had the speed, he had the power, and just the way it's gone in 2021 against the football team back then, and last year just up and down, and then this year like he's just one of those guys that, like you said, they love the game, and just it's really unfortunate what happens. And I hope he has a strong team around him, a strong support group around him, because just something you've worked for your whole life and it gets cut to something you really can't deal with is just, it's a shame. It's really a shame. So sending my prayers and hoping he comes back strong and better than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely prayers up to J.K. Dobbins, his family, who knows more than anybody how much he's going through it right now. It's definitely a tough situation, man. It's a very, very tough situation. A lot of people are thinking that we won't see J.K. Dobbins again in a Ravens uniform, and that's even tough to think about right now too. No?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think like the best case scenario maybe is 1 year prove it deal from the Ravens. I checked, we don't have any. I don't think Gus is out of the contract after this year, so it'd be Justice Hill is the only running back under contract next year. So maybe we draft one and maybe try to re-sign him or Gus. I'm not too sure, but I really don't want it to be the last time we see him, because we know how good he is, man. How good he was playing literally with his knee, like with like fluid, I think, inside of it last year. Still running over people, averaging over 5. He averaged over 5.6 yards a carry, I'm pretty sure, in his career. That is unreal.
Yeah.
I know we talk about Gus too, but for JK, like his height, the way he's built, that's insane. So I hope it's not the last time we see him in purple and black. But if it is, man, hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, definitely a great player, a very special player who never really got his fair shake in the NFL. So it's unfortunate, but you want to talk about some of these other ones?
Yeah, we'll move on to Marcus Williams, the pec injury. He played a whole drive with it, kind of like last year. He played the drive against the Bengals with a broken wrist. He'll be out a while. It may not be season ending, but hopefully we can have him back for the stretch. But I'm tired of saying next man up, but it's next man up already. Geno Stone, we have him. Darius Washington can play in that safety role. Brandon Stevens can play in that safety role. Maybe like you said in that one short, maybe it was kind of a blessing disguise Marlon going down, because we had to, sign guys like Ronald Darby, to come in there.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll allow Brandon Stevens to hop back there at the safety, or Darius Washington. Still, Bradley Roby's out there. I wouldn't mind him either. But yeah, and Rocky Sin barely saw the field. We'll touch on more into that. But yeah, Marcus Williams being out is awful, because me and you were raving in the whole Rain Gang about how many picks he would have this year. How he's a true center fielder, ball hawk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a tough one to swallow. Moving on. Oh, you want to say something real quick?
Well, no, I was just going to say that they did say that he has full motion in his shoulder, and the pain is kind of minimal, but there's a lot of swelling there.
Yeah.
So they're still looking into it, with the MRI and everything like that. So we'll probably get some more official news in the days to come. Yeah. But it's definitely sounding like this is going to be one of those that keeps him out for probably the majority of the season, which is super unfortunate.
It could be worse. Hopefully we see him back, fingers crossed. But
yeah,
that just yeah. And moving on now to Ronnie Stanley. Bro, like, can we talk about? Look at this, all starters: Marlon, J.K., Ronnie, Linderbaum, Marcus Williams, Tyus Bowser on the IR. That's 6 starts. That's 6 out of 22 starters. Like, something's got to give. Something has got to give. I don't know if it's hardball, but something has got to give. I know there's bad luck, but this happens way too much. Ronnie Stanley, knee sprain, he'll be week to week. I expect him to miss the next 2 to 3 games. That's why you draft Falele. That's why you have a guy like Makari, but I'd rather Makari play center than Sam Mustipher. But yes, Ronnie Stanley, good news. I mean, couple weeks. I'm not mad at that. And then Tyler Linderbaum week to week as well. I don't trust Sam Mustipher at center. I would much rather Patrick McCarry. That is just me. But yeah, so it feels like a loss, honestly.
It does.
I would have rather lost and have everybody healthy than win and have everybody hurt. That may sound crazy for that, but it hurts a lot, these guys.
Yeah. I don't know if I can say the exact same. Just because after waiting so long for football, for us to start 0-1, especially to the Texans, would have definitely hurt. That would have stung.
It would have hurt. Oh yeah, it would have hurt
on a different level for sure.
Seeing this,
exactly. Now, when it comes to the guys who are down and out right now, so Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Linderbaum are the ones that I want to focus on the most. That concerns me, and the reason being is because, I mean, just like we've said multiple times on this show, football games are won in the trenches. You know, if you look at the two biggest blowouts from yesterday, so the 49ers blowing out the Steelers and then the Cowboys blowing out the Giants, what those two games had in common is that, you know, in the trenches, the 49ers and the Cowboys were much, much better, you know, and the trenches includes O-line. So if we don't have two of our star pieces on the O-line, and Linderbaum and Stanley are two of the better pieces on our O-line. So without those guys, it's going to make it tougher on Lamar, especially considering how much pressure we saw Lamar underneath, especially in that first half. Like, I can only imagine what it's going to look like if he does not have his starting center who he's grown to be comfortable with. If he doesn't have his starting left tackle who's protecting his blind side, it's going to be rough. Yep. It's going to be rough. So I think, like, you know, a Todd Monken has his work cut out for him, because I do think that they started to, you know, get the protection a little bit better. They got it right in the second half, and Lamar Jackson was able to kind of do his thing. We were able to get down the field, and in that third quarter score those 2 touchdowns. But the absence of a Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Linderbaum, man, it's just you can't replace those guys. And like you said, Sam Mustipher, don't trust him. McCarry, would rather have him, right? But those guys are irreplaceable, truly.
And we had our top 10 most valuable Ravens, and Ronnie Stanley, was he top 3 for both of ours? Stanley, I think he was. Yeah, I know. Wasn't Linderbaum on yours as well? I'm pretty sure.
Linderbaum was like number 8 on mine. Yeah,
exactly. So I think Marcus Williams was on mine too. Like, this is just, and Marlon Humphrey obviously was on ours. These are all guys that we had as top 10 most valuable players on our team that are now out. It's just, and we play the Bengals, not just the Bengals, a pissed off Bengals that got their ass whooped by the Browns, by a bunch of elves, in the words of Jamar Chase. Right. So it doesn't get any easier, but yeah, this is going to be, you got to just kind of just show character, persevere through it, and then, you know, just keep pushing. But there's a point where it's hard to have the backups, and we saw it in 2021 with our DBs. For Pete's sake, we had Robert Jackson out there. I don't think he plays anymore. So, yeah, I mean,
and it really just sucks the fact that this is so early. You know what I mean?
Right,
like, this is happening so early on. Like, it's week 1, and we have 16, 17 more weeks to go. It's just it doesn't sit right with me. It really doesn't. All we can really do is hope, you know, that this is not like a trend. It doesn't keep happening, that sort of thing. Fingers crossed, honestly. That's all we can really do. I mean, and let me just say this one more thing too. I saw a lot of people kind of blaming the coaches, the strength and conditioning coaches, things like that. And I don't get that. I don't understand that, because we switched that personnel last year, and this is still happening. So at what point do we just say, like, hey, football's a dangerous ass sport? Because it is, you know. Shit happens, forgive my language, but shit happens on the football field. Like, guys get hurt. It's a contact sport, you know, and that's the one thing that, you know, I don't like about the sport, is because it's so random. And one week you could be watching your favorite player, and the next week he could be out for a year, you know. So it's the nature of the game. We can't just point fingers. I know, as fun as it is, as easy as it is to point fingers when something goes wrong, sometimes it's just freak accidents, the nature of the game.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Well, it's like, why is it the Ravens? You know, why is it every single year? I don't know. I don't have the answer for you. Is it maybe?
Well, it wasn't so much last year, I would say, right?
We were Somebody pulled up one of our practices, and it was like an essay again. People missing from practice. I mean, Lamar, Duve, Bate, Andrews at a point. Yeah. So
last year was bad, but I don't think it was as bad as the year before last.
It wasn't 2021. No, 2021
See, I'm traumatized by that year.
Yeah, that was an anomaly. Like we had Peters and Gus go down back-to-back plays in practice. That makes zero sense. How that happens.
Yeah. Insane.
Yeah. Last year wasn't as bad as the year before, but it was still not the best. So this year's not starting off the best, but hopefully it can only go better, get up better. And now, like, every time we run the ball, I am going to be running a screen. I will be holding my breath to make sure that somebody doesn't fall on the back of a lineman. Because lineman, that is just so scary. Because you don't know when you can't even protect, brace for the impact. You just be there and somebody gets thrown into the back of your leg and there you go. You're hurt.
Yeah, Yolanda says here, I still think it's still on the strength and conditioning program, especially since these injuries happen frequently to the Ravens and not other teams. So kind of agreeing with you, what you were saying there. But you look at the types of you look at the way that these guys got hurt. Look at the way J.K. Dobbins got hurt. Look at the way that Marcus Williams got hurt.
That was weird. That was a weird one.
Weird. Yeah, it's weird stuff. And I just think that, like, these guys are anywhere from 200 to 300 pounds running full speed at each other, rolling up on each other's legs. Something's bound to happen eventually. That's all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying. Now, it does suck that we have this kind of stretch of bad luck, but I don't know. I just can't get behind putting it on the strength and conditioning program. I just can't.
I mean, I saw some people talking about Harbaugh in preseason, and maybe, when you're going from 70% in practice to full speed and game speed, maybe your body's not ready for it. I don't know. I'm not a genius in that, but that's something I think Harbaugh talked about. How
we saw Dobbins get hurt in a preseason game.
Right. And I know Harbaugh said he might think about the preseason snaps next year. So I don't know, but maybe we just can't. Maybe we're cursed. I put a tweet out. I was like, I have no explanation. Maybe we're just cursed. And maybe we are. I don't know. Maybe us winning 2 Super Bowls in our first, 20 years? Maybe that was the price to pay for all this. Yeah, maybe they were like, all right, calm down. You're still a kid and you have 2 Super Bowls. Meanwhile, some teams like the Browns don't even have one. Okay. The Bengals, the Bills, calm down. So
is it the football gods humbling us?
Maybe it is, but at the same time, it's like, football guys, why would you allow us to have such a good roster, get our hopes up, and then crush them?
Like, what did we do?
Why?
I don't know. Let's stop talking about hurt people. Let's go ahead and move on to the official Purple Rain review. So this is where we're going to kind of break down the stats on offense, on defense. And me and Alex are kind of going to give you guys some things that we took away from this game, especially looking at the numbers as well. So right now we can see the offense's numbers. Passing yards, they outpassed us 196 to 155. Rushing yards, we outrushed them 110 to 72. Total yardage is pretty much neck and neck, 268 to 265 in favor of the Texans. Now, when you come down and you look at the quarterback, so C.J. Stroud, rookie, 28 for 44, 242 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. And Lamar Jackson went 17 for 22, 169 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 pick. Now, just kind of starting off, Alex, what was your impressions on the quarterback play here from C.J. Stroud and Lamar Jackson? What did you see?
So from Lamar, once again, I wasn't expecting him to, light it up. Yeah. I was full, I said it last episode when we were previewing, there was going to be growing pains, and there was. The first half wasn't that good. That interception, though, me personally, maybe because I had the purple blinders on, I thought that could have been a defensive pass interference all over Zay Flowers, mugging him. Very, very handsy, but they didn't call it. Nothing came out of it. But Lamar, he did what he had to do. Was spreading the ball. I wouldn't say spreading because they were feeding Zay Flowers. All right.
Oh yeah, force feeding.
10 targets.
Yeah,
3 times as many as as Odell, Bate, now Dobbins. Zay is. We may have got one with Zay. As for C.J. Stroud, he was playing smart. It's kind of what you want a rookie quarterback to do, taking what they give you. Didn't force anything. And best of luck to him. I hope he has a great career.
Yes. Now we do have our first super chat donation. This one's coming from Max off and making
Thank
it
you,
rain here with the 5-piece on episode 192 of the Purple Rain podcast. Max, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for that donation. He says, I get Lamar was rusty, but no excuses, man. $52 million a year. You got to hold on to that ball. I guess referring to that fumble that he had. Yeah, that we were so lucky to get back. Like, oh my God. Yeah.
Like a loaf of bread.
Ugh. Yeah. And I can get behind the whole, rusty idea. I mean, like, again, like you said, did not play football for the past, 8 to 10 months, something like that. So like these guys, when they get back to full game speed, and full game speed is a lot different from preseason speed, which he did not even see. It's a lot different from training camp speed, regular practice, joint practices. It's a lot different,
Can't get hit.
So Exactly. So I think that he needed to get this one underneath his belt to kind of get his feet wet a little bit. And you can see that's mainly what the entire offense as a whole was doing in the first half. And they didn't really turn it on until the second half. We'll get more into that. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying here, Max. No excuses, but you kind of got to cut him. And I think the entire team, the entire league, you could, if you watch the 1:00 games in the 1:00 window, they were so low scoring for so long. Like everybody's trying to get back to 100% full speed again because nobody's playing preseason anymore. Hardly anybody's playing preseason for that matter. So yeah, I mean, I can get behind the whole rusty thing, Max. That's just me. Don't be mad. But yeah, go ahead.
Your takes on the quarterbacks though?
Yeah. So I mean, overall, I thought that CJ Stroud had a promising first game as a rookie. I think if I'm a Texans fan, I'm not mad at what CJ Stroud, put on tape yesterday. I think that he kind of started to settle in a little bit more towards the latter half of the game. Now, of course, they still weren't able to put up any points, put up any touchdowns, that sort of thing. But I saw him, taking snaps, hitting his back foot, anticipating throws and getting the ball out on time. Again, more so in the second half than in the first. He seemed a little bit rattled in the first half, but I thought he kind of settled down and he played pretty well overall. Now, for Lamar, like I said, I just told you, I get that he was rusty, and I understand that, and I can have that for a reasoning as to why he didn't necessarily ball out. We didn't get the Jackson 5 that we got in 2019, or we didn't get, the week 1 that he had last season or things like that, but this is a brand new offense, so it's going to take time to install. The whole offense as a whole did not look like it was firing on all cylinders because they're just not yet. They haven't played together yet. They hadn't played together. So, and also that offensive line really did play a big part in that first half. And, the offense not really getting on a roll like that. The offensive line was just not good in the first half in general. Lamar Jackson was pressured pretty much every drop back. He didn't have rarely any time to throw. That's why you saw him taking off and running a whole lot in that first half. But overall, I thought it was a decent first performance for Lamar Jackson. And I do think that he's going to start picking it up in the weeks to come as he gets more comfortable with his receivers. And we also have to realize that we did not have any Mark Andrews out there as well. So I think when Mark Andrews comes back, it's really going to open up this offense, Yeah.
Can I just break everybody's heart real quick?
Sure.
Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, and Ronnie Stanley. They played a total of 0 snaps together. 0.
What could have been?
That 0. Like we don't know what the peak of this team. We don't even know how good this team is because we've never seen the best players play together. And that I hate seeing that with any team because I like seeing the best version of their teams play. Wow. I just want to get out of the way. Yeah. So no Andrews was big. Our tight ends Likely and Kolar had a big drop.
Big drop.
The first down.
Yeah.
Likely. Yeah, I'll tell you this. Likely kind of disappointed me. His one catch, I thought he could have got the first down if he
me too.
made a little bit more effort. And that really that actually I screamed, I yelled. I was like, what are you doing? I thought he could have I'm not a big hurdle guy, but he could either juked or hurdled and gotten a first down. I'm glad somebody else saw it.
Yes, as much as we've seen Isaiah Likely make guys miss as a tight end, I just thought that he would give something. You know what I mean? Like just something. Because wasn't that third down?
I think it was the second or third.
A second or third. I thought it was a third down, which is why it really pissed me off as to why he didn't go for it.
It may have
I
been.
could be wrong. I think it might have been a second. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it might have been a second down. But yeah. Also, Charlie Collar's helmet. Have you
boy,
seen?
I've seen.
It? Now I don't know the exact reasoning behind guys having that shape of helmet, but it pisses me off. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't look uniform with the rest of the team. Now I'm gonna sound like an asshole if I'm sitting up here saying all this, and he needs it for some sort of special, reasoning or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I
The
tweeted
fashion
about it.
segment.
I wanted to tell you.
No,
Yeah, I
it's a
wanted to tell
fashion
you about
segment.
it.
No, you're good. When I made a Charlie Collar video, there's comments about that too, how ugly it was. So you're not the only one. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I know guys like to wear the type of helmet they wore in college. Not sure. Hell, Leonard Fournette wears the LSU shoulder pads. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's. Yeah.
Okay.
Can we talk about the receivers real quick though?
Sure. Let's get into it.
Do we have a big three? All right. I don't want. It wasn't the best game, right? But Bateman, 3 targets, 3 catches, and Odell Beckham Jr. 2 catches, 37 yards. What is not on the stat sheet is he drew 2 defensive pass interference calls.
Yes, sir.
Did we have 2 all of last year?
Ooh, that's a stretch. That's a stretch, but no, that was awesome. I love seeing that. Like you said, it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but that's like an easy 50 yards, 60 yards or something like that. That's not going to show up there, but we definitely got it, and it got us into the red zone. So it's just, I love seeing that from Odell Beckham Jr. And like you said, a big 3 between Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham Jr., and Rashad Bateman. I definitely think it's possible, man. Especially once Mark Andrews gets back. You're not going to be able to double any of those guys, any of those wide receivers. If there's anybody that you're going to even think about throwing a double team at, it's going to be Mark Andrews after he's been busting your ass for 2.5 quarters, Yep. And then that's when a Rashad Bateman is going to go off on you. That's when an Odell Beckham Jr. is going to get a step on his man, catch a deep ball like he did yesterday. Love seeing that. But what I really wanted to point out, though, was Zay Flowers. You mentioned it. 10 targets. 10 targets. Now, a couple of those targets were kind of on plays where they were trying to, I guess you can kind of say, force feed him, right? Because, I mean, there was literally like plays where Zay Flowers would get the ball. He'd, run for maybe about 6-7 yards, and we give it right back to him on the next play. I know you remember that double screen that we did in the red zone. Both went for negative yardage. Kind of pissed me and a lot of other Ravens fans off. Like, why are we trying to feed Zay Flowers this much? I thought it was a great performance from Zay Flowers in this first game. I saw a lot of good things. Now, I did see some things that kind of made me reminisce the Hollywood days, right? And some people might get mad at me. When we first drafted Zay Flowers, I tweeted, I think Zay Flowers is a Hollywood 2.0. A lot of people don't take that as a compliment, but I thought it was a compliment. When I say you're a 2.0 or something, that means you're an improvement upon the design, and I think that there's some similarities between Zay Flowers and Hollywood that nobody really wants to talk about right now, but here I am. I'm talking about it. What do you think about that?
I remember rookie Hollywood, the way he would kind of juke. I remember the way he'd stop and go. He did in Oklahoma a lot. I saw some of that. I saw Zay taking some contact as well, where I've really enjoyed that. And as for the force feeding, when the crowd were booing, it was lost to 3 and lost to 6 yards. We lost 9 yards on 2 catches, which hurt him, unfortunately. But I am loving the AB comparison. Not the AB, not AB, Antonio Brown, I should say. AB is a little out there. Zay's 5'9". I'm a rock with the Antonio Brown comparison, but I see what you're saying about the Hollywood, though. I can definitely understand that, and I'm not going to sit here and bash you for it. Because when you say 2.0, I agree. That means you're saying he's better than the 1,000-yard receiver in a run-first offense. Give it to me. Yeah. Give that to me.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Quoney here says, Zay Flowers, his hands are better, and he's not scared of contact. Yeah, I can definitely say that he's not as afraid of contact as a Hollywood Brown. See, Hollywood Brown, he was the type of skill player to run from the defense, right? Now, obviously, when you are a skill player, you're a wide receiver, you're a running back, Your objective is to run around the defense to get to the touchdown, right? Get to the end zone. But with Hollywood, it was more so like he was running for his life. You know what I mean? I don't really get as much of that with Zay Flowers. It seems like Zay Flowers, he'll invite the contact. He wants to make you miss first, yes. But if contact is needed, then he's gonna get in contact with you. So I do like him. I do like him a little bit better than Marquise Hollywood Brown in that regard, but definitely do still see some similarities though. I mean, like you said, he's 5'9". He is on the smaller side. You can kind of see guys just kind of yank him down, like kind of easily, kind of like how they used to do with like Hollywood. But this was his first game against like grown men NFL, with mustaches and beards and kids and all that. So it's gonna be a little bit different than playing against college kids for sure. So, but what I saw in week 1, good so far. Good with me.
Yeah, and Tyreek Hill's 5'10". Zay Flowers was, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Zay Flowers. But he was 22 years old out there doing that.
Yes.
22 years old, putting up 78 yards in your first career NFL game. I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah.
So he's only going to get better, and he'll only be putting on more muscle when you're in an NFL strength room and NFL workout. So he'll just get better. It was a promising first game, and he looks exactly like the right pick for this offense. So shout out to you, Zay Flowers. Can we talk defense?
Yeah. One more thing before we switch over to the defense. Let's look at Rashad Bateman. 3 targets, 3 catches. That's what matters to me. 3 targets, 3 catches. Made the most of his opportunities, right? Had the big 3rd down catch, and I think in the first half. Love to see that. Once Lamar Jackson really starts to put together this wide receiving group and it really kind of gets the chemistry with all of them while they're all on the field at the same time, that's when this offense is going to be what we expected it to be over this offseason. Wasn't going to happen in week 1. It never was. I think we mentioned that last week. We knew it wasn't going to be like a high flying Jackson 5 through the air touchdown game. We kind of knew that. It's going to take some time for this offense to mesh. It's going to take some time for this offense to gel, really come together, build that chemistry. So, definitely very promising for sure.
Yeah, I love the way Bateman played yesterday. That's what we like why we drafted him. The way he was playing, getting lost in coverage, catching the ball, going upfield,
blocking.
That was blocked, by the way, on the Wednesday Flowers. I love him. I love number 3 for the Baltimore Ravens. Can't love him enough. But defense.
Can't love him enough.
Defense. Yeah. Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen.
Okay. Defense.
Is it time?
Let's get into the defense. Yeah.
I think it's time for me to just best duo, linebacker duo, I think. I mean, right now, how well they played. Roquan Smith, 16 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for losses. Patrick Queen, 11 tackles, 1 sack. Oh, and a pass deflected down the field. But he's not good in coverage, though, right?
Talk about it. That pass defense, too, that was a really good one. Yeah. Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, one of the best linebacking tandems in the league, maybe just behind like Fred Warner and Greenlaw. You know what they're doing in San Francisco. We'll get into that in a little bit too. That was a shocker. But yeah, I mean, those guys, they look so damn good, man. And they are locked in with each other, Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. Roquan Smith is the absolute leader of that defense. Like, it's not even a question. And you just love to see it, like, coming into his second year with the Ravens' first full season. He's kind of taking those reins over and just kind of taking over the defense, man. You could see, I think it was one play, I remember Patrick Queen was getting feisty with one of the players from the Texans, and Roquan Smith kind of goes up to him behind Patrick and kind of puts his hand on the shoulder, like, hey, come back, man. Like, we're not doing this right now. You know what I mean? Like, kind of getting the troops back in order. And I just love to see that, because there's a lot of guys who just wouldn't care, would walk off and get ready for the next play. You know what I mean? But you can see that Roquan Smith, he's really trying to take charge on that defense. And he made some big plays yesterday, man. Some big plays in some big spots. And I expect to see that, throughout the season. It just feels right having a star-studded linebacker in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's only right. And I'll tell you what, though, watching the game, Justin Madubuike is the my player you make. Because there's no way he should be that big, that built, and that fast. Yeah. The way he turned on the Jets to sack C.J. Stroud, unbelievable.
You gotta put that. You gotta put that sack in a video, bro. That was a crazy highlight.
I will be having one come out tomorrow for Instagram and Twitter. Don't worry.
Cool.
Yeah, that was. I need him in Baltimore. I need that 92 in Baltimore for a while. I really do, because he is just something special.
Got to clean up the penalties. 2 face masks yesterday.
Yeah,
got to clean that up. Yeah,
that was weird. That's very weird from the undisciplined Ravens team. Usually they're really good under Harbaugh. So that was
yeah. But I mean, again, I think I tweeted this yesterday too. All these penalties in the first week is literally just a byproduct of these guys not getting first team reps together. I mean, until now, like that's what's going to happen. There's going to be miscues, especially when you got a new offense. I mean, there's new pieces on the defense too in certain places. But I think that the penalties are something that'll be cleaned up just kind of naturally, right? As guys kind of get settled in with with playing speed and things like that, it'll clean itself up. It'll clean itself up. Okay.
And one more person I want to talk about, though, somebody who was very critical of signing, but he was causing havoc. Number 24, not Marcus Peters, Jadeveon Clowney. He was causing havoc. Wasn't finishing.
No.
I liked what I saw, though. For his first action as a Raven, it was promising. Leave it at that.
Yeah. It was. I was a little frustrated that he did not finish those 2 clear sacks that he should have had. I mean, when we're talking about a rookie quarterback, man, you have to give him hell. And yes, he had pressures out the ass yesterday, and I love seeing that. He was getting pressure like it was nothing, but that means nothing against higher end quarterbacks. You can get big pressure on a Patrick Mahomes, but he's still going to get that ball out. You know what I mean? And he's going to get it out to the exact spot he wants to on the field. Same thing with a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow most of the time. Notice I said most of the time. A lot of these mobile quarterbacks, which is what we're facing the majority of the time now, they're going to be able to evade him and finish a play, which is going to be frustrating. Like all the pressures, I love it. But if you're not finishing, eventually that shows up, that rears its ugly head. And it's just not going to bode well for our defense, man. So love the pressures, but you got to finish. Got to finish.
Shout out Darius for the sack, and shout out David Ajabo for the strip sack. That's 3 or 4 games, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles.
Yeah. And I don't want our Darius Washington. I don't want his sack to go under the radar. I don't want it to go unnoticed. Our Darius Washington is one of the more underrated players, I think, on this roster. He makes big plays, like in a lot of games, man. Like in a lot of games, it may be like one big play like per game, but it's just like it's so timely. You know what I mean? And like he kind of shoots out of a cannon too. That's what I love about him. Super energetic player. He's all over the place, flying all over the field. Shout out to our Darius Washington, man. We're gonna need him more than ever.
Yeah, now, so. The past 2 years he bought out in preseason and would only get special teams spots plays on regular season. You put him on the defense, and now look, get you a sack. Beautiful. And he's not the biggest guy, but he plays big, and taking down CJ Stroud by himself is no easy task. So I love seeing him ball out.
Yeah. Now, like you said, Ojabo off to a great start, like our guy Optimistic O's fan says. Listen, man, seeing that strip sack was it was everything for me. And you guys know we came on here on Thursday and we said, hey, look, edge rushers got to show us something. And early on, they weren't really showing us too much outside of a couple pressures from Jadeveon Clowney. But when Ojabo got that strip sack, man, just the bend around the edge, and then we know how violent his hands are at the point of attack. Put that on full display once again. Gets the ball out, we recover. If that's going to be his MO, start him. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we need.
I didn't see 90 to start the game. I didn't see 26 most of the game. You sit here and you sign Rock Ya-Sin, and you act like he's our number 2 cornerback, and he's barely playing.
Something's got to give. Something has got to give. Speaking of that, Bateman played like half the snaps that Zay Flowers played.
I think this may be a ramp up. Not too sure.
I mean, they said that there wasn't going to be a ramp up. They said it was 100%.
Right. And Pat Ricard played a good amount, but he was helping blocking. So thank you for that. I truly appreciate the blocking on and off the field. So that was the game.
Yes, it was. So Ravens 25-9 victory over the Houston Texans. They take on the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati this upcoming Sunday at 1 p.m. So that should be good. A couple of guys we may be getting back. Maybe a Marlon Humphrey comes back. I think Harbaugh said today that there's a chance he plays. Same thing with Mark Andrews. We would definitely love to have them back for that big divisional matchup because, like you said, the Bengals are going to be pissed. They're going to be pissed off.
Should we just talk about it? Should we just move on?
Let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah, so kudos to you. You were right. I picked the Bengals to win, and Joe Burrow got the richest contract of a quarterback ever and threw for 82 yards. 82. What the absolute heck. Jim Schwartz and that defense in Cleveland, they got to watch out for them. But yeah, 23-3, I think, or 27-3. I just saw Bengals at 3 points. Wasn't pretty.
Yeah, it was rough. But need I remind you, though, the Bengals actually started off pretty rough last season, too. Yep. They did. I think they started off 0-2 last year. So I think that they're going to take some time to kind of ramp up. The Joe Burrow calf concern that probably didn't help out either. But I think the Bengals will be fine, just like I think the Steelers will be fine as well. Boz, if you're listening to this, I think the Steelers will be fine. But going into next week's matchup, man, it's going to be a war of attrition, as it always is against AFC North opponents. And who can impose their will first and foremost? I think it's going to be us. I'll say that. I think it's going to be us. I think with our defense, what they're doing right now, I got us. I'm going to just say I got us. I'm going to leave the rest of my thoughts for the preview episode. But I got us in that game. I'll say that.
You know who else has us? The 67 people watching right now. Thank you very much. If you are new here and you aren't subscribed and you like what you're seeing, like the video and subscribe, please. Join the Rain Gang. Yeah, join the Rain Gang. Yes. So talking about more games, I just want to talk about that Thursday game real quick.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I picked the Chiefs, but damn, did Jared Goff make me? I felt like a proud father, and Jared Goff is how many years older than me? I felt like a proud father watching his son play football. Seeing CJ Gardner-Johnson do his thing, seeing Aiden Hutchinson do his thing, seeing Amon-Ra do his thing. I was like, man, Lions propaganda has finally won. Dan Campbell biting off kneecaps, that made me happy. And seeing the Chiefs in shambles as well. I mean, they'll be fine. They're gonna make the AFC Championship like they always do. But they actually have a receiver problem, and it wouldn't surprise me if they call the Buccaneers and say, "What do you guys want from Mike Evans? We will give it to you."
Yeah, I mean, I said the same thing after that game was over. Now, I do think that Kadarius Toney will bounce back. I have a lot of faith in Kadarius Toney. I think he just had a terrible game, which it happens sometimes, But what that guy can do after the catch, I mean, he's got to catch the ball first, right? But what he can do after the catch is second to a couple guys, right? But I really like what he's able to do after he catches the football, and I think he'll bounce back in a really good way, and maybe starting next week. So we'll see. But yeah, no, the Lions definitely came out there gritty as hell. You know what I mean? It wasn't a pretty victory by any stretch of the imagination, but and honestly, the Chiefs kind of handed it to him in a way, with all those miscues and everything like that. But again, it's week 1. A lot of these guys haven't played together. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
No Travis Kelce, no Chris Jones. I get that. So
no Kelce, no Chris Jones. Exactly. Chris Jones did sign a 1-year deal today, so he's back in the fold. Yeah.
That saga's over.
That's a weird one.
Yeah, very weird. Any other games? I mean, any games that stood out to you? Because I have a couple that stood out to me yesterday.
Yeah, so Steelers 49ers yesterday.
I wasn't gonna say it, Boz. I wasn't gonna say it,
Boz. Let's go ahead and talk about it, Boz. Right. So I came out with a YouTube short earlier today, and I was saying that I thought that game, that just bludgeoning yesterday, I think that was more so to do with how good the 49ers are than it was to say how bad the Steelers are. Honestly, I think it means more to talk about the 49ers performance than the Steelers performance in this one. Here's why. They were firing on every single cylinder imaginable, man. They just don't have any holes. When you sit back and watch that team on offense, O-line is good. O-line, Trent Williams. I mean, enough said right there. Left tackle, one of the best left tackles in the league, if not the best, right? And then you've got the skill players, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. You can't really ask for much more than that. You really just can't. I mean, Brandon Ayuk is the prototype wide receiver one style receiver, right? You got Deebo Samuel, who's kind of like the hybrid wide receiver running back tandem, and he's not afraid of contact at all. He can take it to the house from the 10-yard line, from your own 10-yard line if you really need him to. George Kittle, top 3 tight end in this league. If you need a big third down catch, he's got you, right? And then you've got one of the best running backs in the league. Definitely number one fantasy running back, I think, as of right now. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey, 152 yards rushing. I mean, the guy looked like he was playing in a Super Bowl matchup yesterday, for crying out loud. Like, just with how hard he was running, the moves he was making, they look unstoppable. And talking about the defense as well, like I was mentioning, Fred Warner, that hit that he had on Najee Harris, insane hit, really changed the pace of that game, really changed the whole mood in Acrisure Stadium of that game after that hit happened. And then also, you got guys like Drake Jackson, 3 sacks. Who knows who Drake Jackson is? Show of hands. I didn't.
I did. Yeah, I did. Whoops. I didn't
know who
my
Drake Jackson
only my
was.
draft video. That was all. But yeah.
The 3 sacks though. That's crazy. In his first game. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Clelin Ferrell. There's a lot of really good guys on that defense, on that offense. Yeah. Bosa. I didn't even mention Bosa. Don't even feel like I have to.
So I know that this is a Ravens podcast stream, and I'm gonna revert this back to the Ravens. Ravens fans, if you guys thought Greg Roman was bad, watch the Steelers game. Matt Canada is about 10 times worse, and I'm not even trying to kid you. Can you imagine the Ravens fans if they had -1 net yards in the first half? Can you imagine what Twitter would be like? Can you imagine what these comments would be like?
Yeah. Can't imagine what I would be like.
Exactly. As long as the Steelers keep Matt Canada, they will not be a threat, in my opinion. They got to get rid of him. I think he'll stunt the growth of Kenny Pickett. As a neutral fan saying, I don't see his philosophy at all. I don't know how he kept his job last year. He's got to go as a neutral, but I'm sorry you have to watch that, boss. That was and they have Najee Harris, you have George Pickens, Allen Robinson, Deontay was hurt, yes, Pat Freiermuth. They're weapons there for him to thrive, but this dude just runs he has a hard one for jet sweeps. I don't get it. We're not playing Madden. All right. I don't Boss saying he's a terrorist worse than ISIS. Yeah. Sorry, Boss, you have to watch that. So all your Greg Roman jokes are coming back to haunt you right now. You want Todd Haley back? There you go.
Tanja says here, we play the 49ers, don't we? I hope we have all of our players back. Yeah, I think we play them late in the season, right?
Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Oh, Christmas. Wow, that's going to be like on Christmas Day?
Yes.
Oh.
Or in the night. I think it's the night game. It'd be the night here because they're in San Fran. 3-hour difference.
We got to win that one. We got to win that one.
That'd be
I just have flashbacks to the last Christmas game we played. We got to win this one.
No.
We got to win this one. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, any other games you had had
Giants,
anything to say about?
Cowboys.
Yeah, that's another one. That one was more so, I think that one was more so about the Giants being bad than it is the Cowboys being good. Because the Giants just really shit the bed in all facets, like in every single phase of the game, special teams, defense, offense. I mean, I think Dak Prescott did not go off. He did not have himself a game yesterday by any stretch. It was just the fact that the Giants constantly made mistakes, constantly shot themselves in the foot. That may be another byproduct of week 1, but 40-0 is a little steep. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I remember the Ravens won against the Dolphins 40-0 on Thursday night. Dolphins weren't good. The Giants have playoff expectations. You got to think about, they got Saquon back, paid Daniel Jones that money, drafted Jalen Hyatt. They have a solid team. They traded for Isaiah Simmons. 40-0.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones, my brother in Christ, what are you doing? Awful.
Literally.
Like,
how much money is he making now?
I think 152 million.
Yeah. Okay.
Insane.
Okay.
And in one more game that shocked me though, Mickey Mouse Baker Mayfield winning against the Vikings. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't. Baker looked solid, did his thing, got the win, but the Vikings now, like that to me, as I'm a Viking fan, this is the easiest your division has been in how long? I know I'm a Lions guy, but you have Aaron Rodgers is out of there. Justin Fields who didn't look good. Jordan Love who threw 3 touchdowns, but it's not Aaron Rodgers. And you go out and you lose to the new Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield at quarterback. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that one's rough. Now, honestly, I admittedly did not watch that game yet. I have to watch that one back. But I do see Taquan Christian in the house says, can we please talk about how Justin Jefferson had 135 plus yards in the first half and then had like 2 catches in the second half? What is that all about?
Kirko.
It's a Kirko Bangs thing?
And Justin Jefferson was very frustrated, and he said, he's playing to win, with or without the contract, which I love. And they were rocking the throwbacks too yesterday, and they lost. Their throwbacks are so nice. Yeah. And I guess one more I want to talk about was
sure. Plenty of games.
Yeah, plenty of them. The Eagles kind of scared me as well.
Yeah, right. So jumping out to that huge lead, and then the Patriots just kind of walking them down and kind of hanging around for the rest of that game. Jalen Hurts with another fumble. Yeah. I mean, it's the second game in a row. I mean, Super Bowl he had one. Yesterday he had one. Is that an issue for him? I don't know. But yeah, that was an interesting one.
Oh, and the game of the week, in my opinion, Chargers Dolphins. That was hell of a game. Tua. I guess I'm a Tua truther. I mean, he was looking good. Tyreek doing his thing. My thing is Justin Herbert. I saw a tweet, and they were like, it was a picture of Tom Brady. It's like Justin Herbert in hypothetical situations. And that is facts. Oh, well, if Justin Herbert had this, this, and this, if he had this, this, and this, how about if he didn't blow a 28-0 lead? Didn't play defense, but didn't score anymore. Had a chance to win the game. What happened? And Mike Williams can just not stay healthy. If I'm a Chargers fan, I am frustrated because you have all this talent year after year.
Big body.
Shit the bed.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. I mean, but they still have a Keenan Allen to make up for it
and a Quentin Johnson now.
He makes up for it. And a Quentin Johnston. How did he do yesterday? I didn't check his stat line.
Not sure. I just was watching Tua light them up, honestly. Tyreek was
man. Tyreek Hill might be the best receiver in football.
I think
better than Jettas.
Yeah. I don't care about the height. You got to look at the yards.
Yeah.
15 yards, I think.
He eats up some field, man. He eats the field up. Like it's so crazy. But the most impressive thing to me was that that fade route for the touchdown that he caught late in the game yesterday. I mean, beautiful throw by Tua, timely throw by Tua, but just the route running of Tyreek Hill, I think, has improved. I really do think it has improved, and the speed hasn't gone anywhere, and that's scary. That is scary for every team. It should be scary for every team in this league. Because it's so hard to stop him, man. It's so hard to stop him. Once you get, like, if you're a DB and you get hip to hip with him, you already lost. You already lost. Like, it's over. And it's just so crazy to watch. He's probably one of the most fun players to watch in the league as well, which is why I love him so much.
Bring back NFL Street. How much fun would it be to use Tyreek Hill in NFL Street?
Come on now.
And the players we have now. You have McCaffrey who can throw. He threw a touchdown last year. Jamar Chase. Yeah. You have all these guys. It'd be so much fun to play NFL Street. And another thing too was it's always Kevin Harlan on these Dolphins calls because I have it etched in my head when he beat us last year and they came back that 28-point fourth quarter lead blown. It was on the call again yesterday. It's always Kevin Harlan and River Craycraft, my favorite name in the NFL, had a touchdown yesterday too. Unsung hero for the Dolphins. And then final game I just want to talk about is the Raiders and the Broncos. Raiders won. It makes me happy because Sean Payton got a little cocky, did the onside kick to start the game off, didn't work, and then they lost.
Yeah, and then you see Derek Carr kind of throwing the ball up as the clock expires. Yeah. I don't know why I thought he might get a penalty for that. I don't know. We don't typically see that, but no. I thought it was kind of
good for him. Good for him. Good for Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, all of them. But yeah. Fun first week, and we still have a game tonight. The Bills, Jets. How are you feeling?
That's happening about 30 minutes. Yeah.
Who are you?
I'm gonna go with I saw somebody put something in the chat about it a little bit earlier. So I started thinking about who I think is going to win. I got the Jets. I think that defense comes out. It shows up and shows out at home, man. I think it's storming there right now.
It is.
So I do predict some more running of the football. Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall. I think this is going to be their game. I really do. I think they're going to eat up some yardage, and then Aaron Rodgers. I think it'll be close, but I think Aaron Rodgers closes it out at the end in classic Aaron Rodgers fashion. So give me the Jets.
Yeah, give me the Jets too. I am a huge Aaron Rodgers hater, but yeah, I got the Jets winning tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it just kind of seems like the perfect shitstorm for the Bills. After the way their season ended last year, if they come out in week 1 and kind of shit the bed, and Diggs doesn't have a big game, or maybe Josh Allen doesn't have a big game, there's going to be a lot of talk about the Bills and how maybe their Super Bowl window closed, what's happening, who knows. But I do have the Jets in this one. I think it's just so much new life, breathed into that team and that defense as well, with a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think that they're going to go ahead and take care of business week 1. So yeah, I got the Jets.
And the date too. I mean, granted, we beat them last year on this date, but a whole different vibe from them. Yeah. So that was week 1. We got one more game left. Then we'll be on to week 2, and football is back. I was watching Red Zone yesterday. It felt like it. Football is back.
Yes.
A relaxing, 4:00 window. But yeah, it's back. Oh, and the Rams beating the Seahawks was a little bit of a shock to me. The Seahawks.
It was. Yeah. Yeah.
No Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. I don't know why. There were a lot of people on Twitter telling me that the Seahawks are better than the Ravens. Tell me the Seahawks are better than the Ravens. And so they come out and lose to a team who might have been tanking this year, who people were saying, oh, maybe the Rams will tank, maybe they'll get a Caleb Williams. They lost to them. So I just don't, I don't really get the hype. I mean, DK Metcalf had a nice touchdown, timely throw by Geno Smith. Cool. But no, I got to see more. My eyes are on teams like the Seahawks. My eyes are on teams like the Chargers, because so many people have thrust them into their top 10, top 10 teams in the NFL with just kind of no reason, no real rhyme or reason as to why. It's just like, oh, I like their pieces. They had a decent year last season. It's like, no, come on, man. I got to see it. If they got to see it from us, I got to see it from them.
I had no problem with the Jags being in there. Because they showed me something last year, and you add Calvin Ridley, you're making actual points, but you're basing the Chargers off of potential.
Yeah,
I just can't do it, in the hypotheticals. So I'm right there. I'm behind you on that one.
Dude, I literally tweeted last week. It was a poll. I said, if it's 4th and 9, you're down 6, no timeouts, and with like a minute left to go, on your own 30-yard line, who do you want, Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow? It was 90% votes for Joe Burrow, 10% votes for Justin Herbert. That told me everything I need to know. It kind of affirmed what I already thought. Like Justin Herbert in big situations, clutch situations, when you need to be the guy, forget all the pieces around you, forget what your defense is doing at the time. Are you going to be the one to convert on that 3rd down, to convert on that 4th down, to really push your team down the field and kind of hit that dagger? I just haven't seen that from him yet.
The only time I think Herbert did that was against the Raiders in 2021 when they had the tie to go into the playoffs, and he drove them down the field and they scored, but they lost the game eventually. That's the only time I really can think about it. He made a crazy throw, but yeah, I mean, yeah. So
I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe we will see it. I don't know. But Trevor Lawrence looked good. Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley. That looks I got him in one of my fantasy leagues. Love it.
Oh my god. Yeah.
He might finish as like top 3 wide receiver. Who knows?
Yeah. It was good first week. Trying to think of any other games, but I really can't. Falcons, Panthers really didn't do a lot for me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about we go ahead and get into some questions?
How about we do
Rain
that?
Gang?
Because there's a lot to talk about.
Any questions that you might have about what we saw yesterday, what we are getting ready to see tonight? Any questions about anything? It doesn't even have to be about football. It doesn't even have to be about sports. You can ask us about anything, literally anything. Drop it down below in the live chat. And if you're not watching this live and you're part of the hashtag replay gang, first of all, thank you. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for, tuning into the show. But make sure you leave your questions down below in the actual comment section, because we do get to those as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Packers Bears.
We have here. Flo
I'm sorry.
What's going on, man?
Packers Bears. Justin Fields. Let's have a conversation about him. He's not good. I don't like writing quarterbacks off like that, but I saw nothing from him. He had 3 throws of 10 plus yards. And I had Bears fans telling me that he's going to be the MVP this year. Why? What has he shown me in the past 2 years of being MVP?
Man, I saw a tweet that said when DJ Moore realizes he's basically still in the Panthers. He's basically, oh my gosh. Yeah.
I think
that tweet made me laugh so hard.
He's a quarterback. He's obviously good, but I just didn't see it yesterday, man. I was rooting for him too. Yeah. I wanted the Bears to finally get the Packers monkey off the back, and it didn't happen.
And here's the thing about Justin Fields. He's going to have his games where he looks like he belongs, you know. Yep. But in the grand scheme of things, can he be a franchise quarterback who is going to win a solid 60+% of his team's games? Don't really know about that. And me personally, I do think wins are a quarterback stat. A lot of people don't think so, but I believe that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many wins he's going to be able to lead his team to.
Oh, K-Dog coming in hot. You're taking.
Okay.
You're taking that question. I'm letting you.
First question for the question segment. This one's coming from Mod K-Dog, the Purple Rain pioneer himself. Says, Sutton, Izzy shit the bed. He really lost? MMA is starting to look like WWE. That last sentence there, K-Dog, I don't know about that one. That's that's a little crazy. MMA starting to look like yeah, that's a little crazy. But yeah, Izzy, he looked like a shell of himself in there, to be honest. And honestly, what I think happened was in the first round, Sean Strickland, he dropped him with a big straight right hand. And then once Izzy went back to the corner after that round, he asked his coaches, he said, hey, look, I didn't see whatever that was coming. Like, what did he hit me with? And, you know, they told him and they were like, yeah, are you good? He said, my mind's clear. Like, I'm good. But from that point on, he was not good. He was just not himself. He was not getting the right timing on things. Now, I don't want to take anything away from Sean Strickland because he had a beautiful defensive performance, you know, and that's kind of the type of fighter he is. I just expected Izzy to be a little bit more aggressive. And maybe throw some more of those kicks, maybe to the body, wear him down like that. But he just didn't really he never seemed comfortable. Izzy never seemed comfortable in that fight. And, you know, that'll, if you're not comfortable in a fight, you're going to lose pretty much every time, especially if the other guy is. And Sean Strickland seemed very, very comfortable. And he seemed more and more comfortable as the fight progressed. Dre says, man, my boy Izzy hurt me, cost me money. Yeah, same, bro. Not going to lie. Let's see. All right. Oh, he said Izzy cost Drake $920,000. That's like $10 to us. Wait, I thought he bet 500,000. I thought I saw a bet for 500 grand, but I don't know.
Please don't tell me that's true. Please don't tell me that's true.
It was 500 grand.
Oh,
Drake. Yeah.
I see. Daily Mail said he missed 920,000. Daily Mail said he missed out. Oh, he had shared on Instagram. He bet 500,000, but I guess he missed it on something else too. Oh, the payout would have been 920,000.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
That would have been the payout. Okay, yeah. Yes, so he did. Yeah, he did cost him that much. Yeah. MMA though, this weekend I will be watching because Kevin Holland is fighting. One of my favorites. I love watching him because he's fucking insane. And October 21st.
You know.
I can tell you right now.
I about to say, yeah. Let me know real quick, and I'll let you know whether or not he's gonna win.
Yeah, please do, because
I like Kevin Holland too.
He just always fights, and that's why.
Yeah.
JDM. It's looking like.
Oh, Jack Medela Delana. Yeah. He's good. He's really good. This is a winnable fight for Kevin Holland. I'll say that. It's a winnable fight for him. But JDM is no joke, man. I think he's on a hot streak right now. The guy who he was supposed to fight, I think, pulled out of a fight or something like that. So that'll be a good fight. Are they main eventing? Yeah, I think they are main eventing.
No, they're not. They're Shevchenko is the main event. Yeah, Grasso and Shevchenko.
Oh, yeah. Alexa Grasso. Okay.
It's this fight and then October 21st when Oliveira fights. Those two fights are gonna be. They're gonna make or break me with UFC. If not, I'm just gonna watch it as a casual and not have favorite fighters anymore. Because
everybody loves Charles Oliveira.
I love him. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Maybe I don't know what it is. I like him.
Yeah. It's just that he's entertaining as hell. He
Yeah,
faces
probably.
adversity in pretty much every single fight, gets knocked down, then gets right back up and goes and puts
Isn't
the
he
pressure
like
on the other guy.
he has to wear glasses, right? Isn't that something too? Like he can't see
Oh
correctly?
yeah. He's come out and said publicly, like when he's in the octagon, he literally sees 3 of his opponent. Like, and he just tries to aim for the middle one. That's what he says. So he's blind as
Wow.
a bat for sure.
Wow.
I know. Isn't that amazing? It's crazy. Okay.
I mean
Let's
that
get into a couple
yeah.
more questions here. Chike says, can Mac Jones be a franchise quarterback? That's a good question. That's a good question.
Because I think his 5th year's coming up soon. This year, actually.
I'm going to say no. Because I think in 2023, in order to be considered a franchise quarterback, you have to have a certain degree of special in you. And I don't
Yeah.
think that Mac Jones really has that. Tom Brady was kind of like a similar archetype of quarterback to Mac Jones, but Tom Brady had the special in him. He knew what to do, where to go with the football at all times. I don't think so. I don't think he'll be a franchise quarterback.
Yeah. I don't think either. I think his best bet is hoping he's like a Ryan Tannehill. Can go elsewhere, maybe win a starting job and show out for a couple of seasons, but I don't think so either.
Yeah. Lisa says here, what do we have to do to keep Joe Burrow on his back? I mean, guys, pressure, yeah. Ojabo and Owe and Clowney got to step up, but that interior pressure as well. Justin Madubuike played really well. Travis Jones was another one who, his production is not going to show up on the stat sheet for yesterday's game, but have faith in him to create some interior pressure as well. So that's what we're gonna have to do. We're just gonna have to generate pressure from everywhere. And I don't really want Mike McDonald to be dialing up a whole lot of blitzes. I really don't. But if we can get home with 4, I think that's the way to go. I mean, you're not really gonna lose a whole lot of football games if you're getting pressure with a 4-man rush. So,
and I saw that when he got blitzed by the Browns, it was like his lowest passer rating. Like he was in hell when he got blitzed. So McDonald, let's cook, please.
Yeah. Let's see. Tanja Bowman says, question, do you guys like our way off zone coverage? I prefer man coverage. That's more like Raven play. Our corners don't even disrupt plays. The receiver catches the ball, then they tackle.
Yeah, good point. That's happened a lot, especially with Collins and Woods. They had a couple of yards of space around them, making easy catches, and we just could tackle it immediately. It's a good point you bring up there. It's frustrating at some points because you want to get more pass breakups. I mean, Brandon Stevens was this close to getting one and just missed it.
But a lot of that comes from the quarterback having entirely too much time in the pocket. Like I don't like seeing a rookie quarterback, CJ Stroud, confidently have his eyes down the field, climb the pocket, and make it through. I just don't want to see that. Like I want to see him get knocked off his spot. I want to see him bothered by our edge rushers, his eyes brought down from our interior pressure, things like that. So yeah, I definitely do get what you're saying there, Tanja. And man coverage is a little bit. I think it's a little bit more reliable, for the defense that we run. But that's when guys start getting handsy too, right? And we start getting these penalties and things like that. So yeah, but I like that point. Okay. We're going to go ahead and leave it there for the question segment in this episode of the Purple Rain podcast, episode 192. Again, thank you guys so much for coming out to this one. A lot of episodes. We're 8 away from 200. We got to do something big for 200. I'm thinking a giveaway.
Yeah. Let's see what we can cook.
Yeah. I see what we can cook up. Oh, man, we're up to something here. All right, let's see. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. You guys know business as usual. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. You can follow this guy over here on Twitter at SimplyAS10 or on Instagram at SimplyAS10.prod. And please do not forget, you can go on manscaped.com and get any of their products using our discount code PRP. It's going to save you 20% off. Plus, you get free international shipping. So no matter where you live, shipping's on us, baby. Shipping's on us. We got you. We got you here at PRP. Anywhere. Again, thank you guys so much for coming out to this episode. Make sure you like the video before you get out of here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, because we do go live Mondays and Thursdays. The season is back. So we are back officially, consistently. We are here to stay. And Boz says here to put a nice little bow on everything. Like the video or the kids don't need And never
No.
forget to call God.
I will go
Yeah,
down there and take their rations from them. Like the video.
you heard him. Yeah,
Like
the video. Okay. Again, thank you guys so much for coming through. And with that being said, I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you to everyone coming through for our first week, our first review game of the NFL 2023 season. Thank you all for coming through. We love you and appreciate you dearly. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
And never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. It's been episode 192 of the Purple Rain podcast. We're going to catch you guys in the next one.